This is my chord combo tutorial for Monster Mash, and this follows my chord tutorial series and is a short tutorial where we just learn part of the song looking at the chords you'll need for this song and focusing on a particular chord transition. So the best way to learn chords is by throwing yourself into songs and just learning verses and choruses and then stitching it all together and seeing how the chords, not only how you play a single chord in a song, but how you transition from one chord to the next. So it's really those patterns of chords and those transitions between chords that you really want to be learning when you start learning the chords on the ukulele. So today we're going to be focusing on the G chord and the E minor and the C and the D. And those are the chords that you'll need all the way through this song. And I'll just look at part of the song, so one verse with you, make sure we're really comfortable with that. And then I'll leave you to learn the whole song if you want to. And I will actually finish with the whole song sung through at the end of the video, so you can go straight into trying that if you want to. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do enjoy it, please do like and subscribe. And please do enjoy the rest of the songs on my channel. Don't forget, you can always download all the music from my channel through my Dropbox account. And the link to that is in the description to the video. So please do check that out as well. Okay, here we go. Let's get into the chords you'll need for the Monster Mash. So the chords we are looking at, as I've said, are the G, E minor, C and D. So let's have a quick look at those four chords and how they transition between themselves. So the G, we've got our first and second finger on the second fret there, with our first finger on the bottom on the A string, second finger above it on the C string, and our third finger at the side on the third fret on the E string there. And that's what we start on for the verse. Then we go to the E minor. For the E minor, we've got our first finger on the A string on the second fret there. In fact, that's the same position as the G, so it's a nice transition from the G to the E minor. Your first finger can stay in the same place, and like I said, that's part of learning these songs, learning the transitions between chords. So our first finger stays in the same place for the E minor. Second finger goes on the third fret there on the E string on the third fret, and then our third finger, we're making effectively a diagonal line here. I always just think E minor, diagonal line. Our third finger goes on the fourth fret on the C string. So if you look carefully at your fingers, you can see that line taking place. So we can start with the G, go back to the G, and then to the E minor. Keep that first finger held down, we don't need to move that first finger. And then we go to the C. So that's where we just lift our first two fingers off and move our third finger to the third fret on the A string there, which releases our second finger to get ready for the D, which you can then put down across the top three strings on the second fret, so the G, C and the E strings. Just be careful not to catch the A string at the bottom. So let's do that again all the way from the beginning, back to the G. First finger in place for the E minor. Now first and second fingers lift off, third finger goes to the C chord, and then second finger gets ready now for the D chord. One more time, back to the G. I was working in the lab late one night when my E minor eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my C monster from his slab began to rise, and D suddenly, to my surprise. And there we go. And that is the verse, and that's pretty much the pattern that you follow for the whole song. Let me just sing the first verse for you, and then I'll leave you with the entire song to get into if you want to. So it goes a little bit like this. The pattern is down, down, up, up, down, up for the strumming, apart from one single strum in the middle that you'll spot. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise. And there we go, that's the verse, and that pattern carries on throughout the whole song. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave you with the whole song now to enjoy. Do like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash, he did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash, it caught on in a flash, he did the mash, he did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Eager on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. They played the mash, they played the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, they played the mash. It caught on in a flash, they played the mash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drag's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? It's now the mash, it's now the monster mash, the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash, it's now the mash. It's caught on in a flash, it's now the mash. It's now the monster mash, now everything's cool. Drag's a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you that live in this mash was meant to, when you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you, then you can mash. Then you can monster mash, the monster mash. Under my graveyard smash, then you can mash. You'll catch on in a flash, then you can mash. Then you can monster mash, wahoo. It's the monster mash, wahoo. It's a graveyard smash, wahoo. It caught on in a flash, wahoo. It's the monster mash, the monster